Good day, everyone. So we're gonna talking about counting significant figures. Significant digits, number of digits in a figure that express the precision of a measurement instead of its magnitude. The easiest method to determine significant digits is done by first determining whether or not a number has a decimal point. This rule is known as the Atlantic Pacific Rule. The rule states that if a decimal point is absent, then the zeros in the Atlantic or right side are significant. If a decimal point is present, then the zeros in the Pacific or left side are insignificant. So in this video, we're gonna go over significant figures, how to them, how to round them to the right digits, and we are gonna talk about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and some examples and some compound and operations. So the first things we need to know that any non-zero number is counted as a significant figures. So the non-zero zeros numbers are 1 to 9. So the first thing we need to know that any non-zero number is counted as a significant figures. So 1 up to 9 is counted as a significant figures. So 1, 4, 3, since these numbers are non-zeros, so these are significant figures. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have three significant figures. So next is 8, 1. So 1, 2. We have two significant figures. Let's try to 1, 8, 7, 3. Since these are non-zeros number, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have four significant figures. So how about this one? 1, 0, 1. How many significant figures it will have? Now, in between 0, the non-zero numbers, the non-zero numbers are always counted as significant figures. So therefore, since the 0 here is arrive with 1 or the non-zero numbers both sides, so it is counted also as significant figures. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have three significant figures. So now, what about this 4, 0, 8, 0? How many significant figures it will have? So the zeros in between 4 and 8 are counted as significant numbers. However, the trailing 0, which the 0 to the right of the 8, trailing zeros are not significant if these are no decimal point here. So since there has no decimal point, we have only 1, 2, 3 decimal. We have only three significant figures. So what about these two zero zero zero? How many significant number it has? Since So there are no decimal points. So all the zero of the right of the number 2 is a trailing zeros. So therefore this set of numbers has only one significant figures. Since these three zeros here are the trailing zeros. And the note of this topic is all the trailing zeros are not counted. So next is 800. So since it has two trailing zeros here, so we have only one significant figures. Significant figure. So now let's take the decimal point. So 300 point. How many significant figures do we have? So now the zeros right of the 3 are counted as significant figures because it has a decimal point here. So we have 1, 2, 3 significant figures. So how about this one? 600.0. How many significant figures it has? So we count all the zeros including at the right of the decimal point. Since all the zeros arrive in the 6, so since we have decimal point here, so the zeros here are counted as a significant figure. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 significant figures. So now what about this 50060 point? With the decimal point, how many significant figures are in these numbers? Since we have a decimal point here, every zero to the right of the non-zero numbers are counted as a significant number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 significant figures. So next to this one, 0.0153. How many significant numbers do we have? Now the 0 to the left of the non-zeros number, the left of the non-zero numbers are known as the leading numbers. So they are not counted as a significant figures. So these two leading zeros here are not counted even if it has a decimal point. So we have only 1, 2, 3. We have only 3 significant figures. So how about this 0.001008? How many significant figures do we have? So like here, the leading zeros is not counted as a significant figures. So we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 significant figures. So what about this one? 0.00020800. How many significant figures do we have? So we have two non-zero numbers here. And we have one in between zero. And also we have two trailing zeros here. To the right of the 8. Since we have four leading zeros, and this is not counted as a significant figure. So, since we have a decimal point here, all the trailing zeros here are counted. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 significant figures. And now, what about this one? 0.0306040. So every zero to the right of 3 is gonna be counted as significant because we have decimal point. So all the zeros here are counted. Since we have two leading zeros, so we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 significant figures. So next, we try to apply the multiplication operation. So let's say multiplication. So let's say we have 3.53 times 10 to the power of 4. How many significant figures are in these numbers? So for number expressed in signs notation, you can ignore this part, the multiplier, the 10 to the power of 4. So simply count the non-zero numbers here. So 1, 2, 3. We have 3 significant figures. You can ignore this multiplier and count this non-zeros number. So, what about this 1.06 times 10 raised to the power of negative 5? So, how many significant figures do we have? To the in-between zeros, here, in between zeros, it is counted also as significant figures. So, we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 significant figures also. And finally, how about this 8.60 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3? How many significant figures it will have? So, all three numbers of this part, three numbers, 1, 2, 3, is significant figures. So we have 1, 2, 3. Here we have 3 significant figures to this example. Now, the next thing that we need to be able to do is that we need to be able to round the number to the appropriate number of significant figures. So, for example, 4, 2, 5, 7, 6. How can we round this number to one significant figures? How did you do it? So if you only have one significant figures, that figures is gonna be answer it to your decision. So your decision is, should you keep it 4 or you rounded it up as 5? So we need to do, look at to the next number here. The next number is 2. 2 is less than 5, so we have to round that down, or we're gonna keep it up 4. Since we have only one sig figs, everything else is gonna be 0. So we need something that is very close to 4,257.16. So the closest thing we can get is, let's copy 4, and it states here that everything else is gonna be 0. So 1, so 3. So we have 1, so we have, since this is trailing zeros, so this is not a significant figure, so we have only one significant figures. So 4,000 is very close to 4,257, right? So the next is 4 to 5 7 16. Now let's say that we need to round these numbers to two sig figs, to two significant figures. So how did you do it? So next, the first thing, the first digit is 4. So let's proceed to the next digit, which is 2. So it's your choice whether you keep it as 2 or you're gonna round it off. Since we have 4 to 5 7, 5 here, so we're gonna round then, so 42 gonna change to 43 because we round it off, because we have 5 here. So 43, and we need to get 2 sig figs, right? So everything else, the rest is a 0. So 1 2. So since we have trailing zeros also, this is not counted as significant figure, so we have only 1 2. We have 2 significant figures. Next, we try to 3 sig, sig figs and 4. So let's try to 3. So to round it into 3 sig figs, the first two numbers, the first two numbers is 42. Were answers about 5, so we're gonna keep it as 5, or we rounded off. Since the next number is greater than 5 7, so we're gonna round it off. So 4 to 6, so ito siyang ground off. Then we need to add 0 here because we need to get only 3 sig figs. So we have here 1 2 3, we have 3 sig figs. So next, now for the next one, 4 sig figs, the first 3 digit, 4 2 5 7, the first 2 digits or 3 digit are 4 to 5. So let's copy 4 to, let's copy 4 to 5. At last, the last digit is 7. So we should keep it as 7, or we round it off to 8. So let's say to the next number, it's 1. The next number is 1. So we're gonna say 4 to 5 7, and we have 1 2 3 4. We have 4 sig figs. So now what if we round to 5 significant figures. So the first four digits, the 4, 2, 5, 7. The last number, the last one is 6. So 6 is greater than 5. So we're gonna round off to 4257.2. So we have, since it is non-zero, so it is counted as significant figure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 significant figures. So that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching.